all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. Are you seeing any signs of rain? I haven't yet. It might still be a good idea to start carrying an umbrella though, just to be safe. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 4th of June. The Reserve Bank of India will not approve S.R. Bartley Boy & Co. LLP, which is a local chartered accountancy firm affiliated with EY, for carrying out statutory audits of commercial banks for a year starting April 1. This after the RBI found certain lapses in an audit assignment carried out by the firm, according to a statement on the regulator's website. The Reserve Bank of India appointed Committee on Digital Payments has recommended that the regulator consider reducing the interchange on card transactions by 15 basis points to boost electronic and digital payments in India. The committee, as part of its recommendations, has also suggested that the government could consider subsidizing the merchant discount rate or fee that merchants need to pay for card transactions at their outlets. There's a lot of news on banks today. Fitch Ratings has downgraded ICICI Bank and Axis Bank as it sees continuing stress in India's banking system. Both the private sector banks now bear an issuer rating of BB+, which is down from the previous BBB-. BBB is usually considered the base for investment-grade companies, with everything below falling into speculative territory, according to the ratings scale of the rating agency. And the last piece of news on the banking space is that the RBI has said that over 6,800 cases of bank fraud involving an unprecedented 71,500 crore rupees were reported in 2018-19. The amount involved has nearly doubled from the previous year. L&T plans to sell up to 40.34 lakh shares or 3.9% in L&T Technology Services through an offer for sale. The floor price for the sale has been set at 1,650 rupees per share, a discount of about 4% to the current market price. In international news of a probe into anti-competition activity by major US tech companies spooked investors on Monday. According to reports, US regulators have split up oversight in apparent preparation for probes into whether the firm's practices harm competition. The FTC will look at Facebook and Amazon, and the DOJ examines Google. The Justice Department will also oversee Apple, according to a Reuters report. Google parent Alphabet fell to a 5-month low and Facebook plummeted 7.5%, the most since July. Amazon and Apple also declined. Not surprising then that the tech-heavy Nasdaq declined 1.6% in yesterday's session. The Dow ended flat while the S&P 500 declined 0.3%. Meanwhile, the bond rally marched on in the US, with the 10-year Treasury yields falling to their lowest level since September 2017. The dollar lost ground against all its G10 peers after James Bullard became the first Fed board member to publicly call for a rate cut amid the ongoing trade war. US President Donald Trump is in the UK for a state visit, where he said that a trade deal was possible once Britain gets rid of its shackles by leaving the European Union. The president met Queen Elizabeth at Buckingham Palace with protesters outside. He also took time to call London Mayor Sadiq Khan a stone-cold loser. Saudi Arabia's Energy Minister Khalid Al-Falih has said that the recent volatility in crude oil prices is unwarranted and predicted allied crude producers would continue efforts to avoid an oversupply for the rest of the year. Al-Falih's assurance hasn't seemed to calm traders, though, who are worried that simmering trade disputes will affect the economic growth that underpins oil demand. Brent is currently trading just above the $61 per barrel mark, whereas just last month it was trading above the $70 per barrel mark. Asian shares are currently trading mixed and are apparently searching for direction. Perhaps that will be provided when China starts trading. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex, and a happy Tuesday, listeners. Well, it was another historical day yesterday, even as the Nifty closed at lifetime highs and above the mark of 12,000 for the first time. And what has been typical of late of Indian markets is that while they do start on a very subdued note, we do eventually end up seeing some very sharp move for the indices. Is the case or could be likely today with the SGX Nifty futures indicating a very quiet opening. But in terms of stocks, there are plenty that we can watch out for, starting off with L&T Technology Services promoter Larsen & Toubro, which plans to sell about 3.9% stake in the company. The promoter will sell up to 40 lakh shares at a floor price of 1,650 apiece, a discount of about 4% to the current market price through an offer for sale. This is in order to meet the minimum public shareholding norms under the SEBI. Now moving on to some downgrades, we have Fitch downgrade ICICI Bank's long-term issuer default rating, and this has come down to a BB plus, that is junk, from BBB minus. Moving on to, well, a bunch of downgrades, if I can call it that, because we do have ratings agency Fitch, which has downgraded ICICI Bank's and Axis Bank's issuer default ratings. And even though these downgrades come through, well, the outlook for both banks remains positive. Fitch says the downgrades reflect agency's assessment of India's operating environment, with banks still struggling with poor asset quality and weak core capitalization. Moving on to Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, well, it's to relaunch its Zentante capsules in the US market, and GE Power has been awarded contract worth 738 crores by NTPC joint venture for engineering work on a full turnkey basis. Moving on to a bunch of brokerages which have announced their verdict for the Indian autos and the kind of volumes that we've seen. We have UBS, which maintains the demand softness has continued, the two-wheelers demand remaining sluggish. Passenger vehicles and tractor volumes have also slumped, and truck volumes have remained weak, except for Ashok Leyland, where volumes were relatively better. Nomura, on the other hand, is positively surprised when it comes to passenger vehicle segment, while all other segments have disappointed. Now, these are just some of the stocks and sectors that you can watch out for as we move into trade today. But don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. That's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's a lot more on the website, so do check it out. That's BloombergQuint.com. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a lovely day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.